We are unapologetically free Palestine. We do not deviate from this issue in any way, shape, or form. Jen has an origin story of origin stories. Before we play,
you make me sound like an X-Man.
Well, you kind of are. You know, like you say, that Ilhan Omar is like this little ninja princess that
she is.
You know, considering all the shit that she has
like a Jedi ninja princess. I know.
So we are going to play this clip of former NBA superstar Dwight Howard, and Jen is going to share her origin story of what it was like growing up as a real Zionist in South Florida. Here we go.
NBA, it's a lot of things that you want to say, that you could say, but you know if you say it, there's gonna be repercussions. You could get in a lot of trouble. For example, a couple years ago when I played for the Houston Rockets, I tweeted "Free Palestine," and I dang near got kicked out the league for it. And I'm like trying to figure out why. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, obviously, before that, the conversation happened with some Palestinians, and they were telling me, I actually went to the movies one day. I was in the movies in Houston. A whole bunch of Palestinians was like, hey, man, we're big fans of you. Can we watch movies with y'all? So I'm like, cool, man. You know, when I was in Houston and Orlando and a lot of cities I played in, I would take fans to movies. I would take them to main event, do big events at David Buster's and stuff like that. So we go to the movies. After the movies, I'm taking pictures with all the, you know, fans and stuff like that. And they asked me to just bring some awareness to what's going on in their country. So, you know, me having a big heart, I'm like,
the Christian thing to do.
Yes, I'm like, you know what? I want people to know the struggles y'all having. You know, I don't think it's wrong. So I tweet "Free Palestine." Less than 10 minutes after I tweet that, I get a call from the commissioner of the NBA.
Stop it.
Agents, people like working with my foundation at the time, Texas, you gotta erase this tweet. You gotta take this down. You're gonna get it. I'm like, what did I do that was so bad?
Can somebody explain to me?
Yeah, can somebody explain? You know, and it was just like because I went against the grain. I said something that people didn't like, and I, you know, now
not people didn't like, they didn't like.
So now it's like I gotta stand on what I believe and how I feel, and not go back on it.
Yeah.
And when you're in the league, you be in that place where if I say too much, or if I say something, I may not get a job no more.
That's like 70% of people that's out the league that got you.
I gotta hold my tongue, and that's so hard to do when you are faced with so many situations. You have things going on that may be outside the court. You may have situations with your teammates or the team going on and you can't really speak on. And then I just got to a place where I couldn't trust nothing or nobody. So it's like, I'm not gonna say nothing, do nothing. And then that was a problem too, because now other people are speaking for me.
You can't win. You just can't win.
Here's what's amazing. I was wrong. I forgot how long it's been since Dwight Howard actually played for the Houston Rockets. So this goes all the way back. Dwight Howard became a Houston Rocket in 2012, and he left the team in 2016. So he was there for 4 years. And over the course of that 4-year period, which is almost a decade ago, he said "Free Palestine." And they said,
and within 10 minutes.
And they said, you're out of the league. Now, granted, at the time, the commissioner was David Stern. But nevertheless.
It wouldn't matter.
Wouldn't matter. Adam Silver.
It has to do with sponsors.
That's it. Because the NBA is really a star sponsor-driven league of the highest order. Jen, if you can share, because obviously we have a lot of new members of this audience.
You think people want to hear my origin story? I don't know why you call it my origin. It's not like I wasn't like
there's a reason
from this story.
There's a reason why I think a lot of people in the audience don't understand the power of the Israel lobby and why they have this hold over our economic and political system. And now where a basketball player simply says "Free Palestine," who has a guaranteed contract of tens of millions of dollars, at the drop of a hat, the commissioner, David Stern or Adam Silver, could step in and say, you will take this post down or we will kick you out of the league.
Right.
Like, that's it. Just for saying "Free Palestine."
You think my little story is so fascinating. So for people who are new, I grew up in North Miami Beach in South Florida in a very Jewish area. I grew up in an area where the majority of people I went to school with were Jewish. We would go to the Jewish Community Center in the afternoons. I went to Sunday school. I went to Jewish sleepaway camp for a few years, like just everything. I went to a program sponsored by the JNF called Alexander Muz High School in Israel when I was 16 years old. And sort of like a birthright, it's a longer program. And it's nonstop brainwashing. And it's, when you're in it, obviously you don't see it as easily, especially not at that age. I don't know that I would have seen it then. But yeah, I grew up in a world where there was no such thing as Palestinians. Palestine wasn't a real place. That there was nobody there until the Jews made the desert bloom. And then those people who they're not Palestinians, they're Arabs, and they're all Arabs. And Arabs are absolutely less civilized, they're just such savages, and they're dirty, and they want to kill us. And watch somebody clip that now and put that out there like I was saying that for real.
Hey, our channel's growing. They're going to try to knock us down.
That's the kind of thing. But that's the message that we were taught. And it was just commonplace. It wasn't like my parents in particular, anybody was, this was just common. And anything involving the synagogue or anything involving Jewish holidays or Jewish after school or any of these programs, there was a very big focus on Israel. Always a big focus on Israel. I mean, we would sing Hatikva. I mean, it was all very, and so it was definitely a hard transition for me to kind of come out of that, like the deprogramming. And it started early in the 2000s. It was a gradual process. And really up until 2019, I was still holding out hope for this two-state solution. And now I really know that that was never real. That was never a real plan. There was never any intent ever the Zionists never intended to give the Palestinians a state. Never. So the whole concept of a two-state solution was just propaganda. So when I hear Democrats now, or people like party establishment people, or anybody really using that phrase, then I know that they're just full shit. Because there's no such thing as a two-state solution. That never was real. There's no plan for it. It never existed. And they have no interest in Palestinians having self-determination. So I come from a very unique perspective on this. I come from a background where a lot of the people that were previously in my life are no longer in my life, since I've been very vocal about this. And to be clear, on this channel, we started a series called Deconstructing Zionism in October of 22. So we've been talking about this for a long time. It's one of many reasons why I believe we get shadow banned. But so I have a very interesting, unique perspective on Israel. And now I'm definitely an anti-Zionist, but I'm anti a lot of things.
But it doesn't surprise you. I'm
anti-empire, I'm anti-capitalist, I'm anti a lot of things. But Zionism is white supremacy. Zionism is the same as Nazism. It's the same thing. That's why I use the term Zion-Nazi. It's really the same. The fact that they don't see it, and really at the end of the day, Israel will be a footnote to the Nazi Holocaust. It'll be like, and then after being genocided, then the oppressed people turned around and became the oppressors, and then they committed this genocide. It'll be sort of like, it'll be the sequel, if you will. It'll be like the Kill Bill 2 to that. And it's pathetic. And in a lot of ways, it's embarrassing. And I have a lot of people in my life that are no longer talking to me, and it's just the way it is.
Well, you're a better person for it. And it is unfortunate that, look, Dwight clearly kept this in for a very long time. He clearly didn't talk about it because this happened like a decade ago. But clearly he's been looking around at what's been going on, and he just said, Yeah, you know what? People have the right to know. There's probably a lot of guys in the NBA. There's probably a lot of guys in professional sports that want to speak up, that want to say the truth about what's really going on.
In every field, there's people that want to speak up and say the truth, but they can't because of their livelihood. Look what has been happening. People are losing jobs. Professors are getting fired. Like, this is real. It's a red scare. And it's people are really having economic and livelihood consequences. So I understand that. It's when people who wouldn't, or who could afford it, who have a nice cushion and they still can't stick their neck out, that's when it's disgusting. When it's people that they can't. I mean, I don't expect people to not be able to support themselves.